I got an idea. Let's talk about the hashtag OrangeManBad, an NPC or non-player character meme.
Orange Man. Bad.
Well, what do we have here? A trenchant piece of social commentary? Hup, rewind it, let's take another look, and I will try to keep my mouth shut until the end.
Orange Man. Bad.
Drumpf.
Gloomf. Bloom.
Cramp.
Ref. Breaking news. Orange Man bad.
Orange Man bad.
Orange Man.
Orange Man.
I mean, political affiliations aside, you gotta give this dude credit, all right? I'm serious. Put your politics aside for a second and give this some credit. Rewind that shit.
Orange Man bad.
Orange Man.
Orange Man. Orange Man bad. Diversity is our strength. Gender is a social construct. White people must be abolished. Real communism hasn't been tried yet. He will not divide us. This meme is dehumanizing.
Why?
You know, this is a perfect example of the right being unchained, the alt-right particularly being unchained, unfettered, unhindered by the structures of political correctness, microaggressions, and ideology to use humor, to use comedy as a weapon, as a tool. All right, so do me a favor and spare me the celebrating the alt-right comments. I'm not a fan of Steve Vai nor Joe Satriani, and I can fully admit that they both tread on Satan's axe. In other words, as difficult as it is, try to put your specific political affiliations aside and just look at the mechanics of the way that these cultural producers are representing protest.
We have a surprise for you. We have a surprise. Okay. Yay!
If I knew that this was going to be the outcome, like, I would have never done something like this.
The left is bringing a proverbial knife to a gunfight. On the other side, let's take a look at the absolutely unholy alliance between neoliberal ideology and the corporatist impulse. Translation, the Kendall Jenner ad is awful, but it's a fairly accurate representation of the link between progressive ideology and corporate interests. I mean, there are literally no words. What the WTF? I'm speechless. I mean, I found some words. I want to rewind the tape and I want to take a close look at how the Pepsi advertising agency chose to show the resistance posters that are in this crowd. This is actually a relatively accurate representation of the level of discourse that we find within the graphic design, within the homespun and professionally spun posters, placards, and banners that we find in this kind of milieu. Get a job. It's also a representation of how graphic design in general, the field of graphic design at its core is a form of virtue signaling.
Here's a typical example that popped up in my Instagram feed this morning. The subtext is clear. If you disagree with me, you must be evil.
You know, these videos, they're very effective. And it's one of those things where the videos that are being produced by the Prince of Zimbabwe are just There was a time in the past when virtue, one's inherent goodness, was tied to those things one did, not effectively to what one says. That is, if I'm this upset, I must be better than you. Graphic design specifically and contemporary art are inherently concerned, are fundamentally concerned with the manner with which one speaks, the rhetorical components, the semiotic components, the nuance of language. In the hashtag OrangeManBad NPC meme, we do not fundamentally see virtue signaling. We don't fundamentally see the assertion of moral authority from the position of the creator of the video. Let's set side by side these two distinctly different forms of political intervention through media, and you tell me which one is more effective.
All right, as a graphic designer, as an artist, think about it, which of these two forms of making, which of these two forms of media seem as if they have a greater likelihood of changing the mind, of changing the behavior of the person viewing the media? It's really that simple.
So you're going to say that it's a false choice, a straw man argument, that I've stacked the deck by suggesting that those two videos represent the ideological poles.
When I first got this offer, I mean, it's a huge company. The people I was following were so iconic and amazing. Michael Jackson's done it.
This is actually a relative. How you doing? Well, in this video, what I'm really talking about is I'm talking about the idea that regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of whether you consider yourself a social justice warrior or if you're on the right end of the political spectrum, there are, let's face it, there are more and less effective ways of producing political action. The Prince of Zimbabwe videos, which could be seen as coming from an alt-right perspective or at least a right-wing perspective, the facts of the matter are, in my mind anyway, that they're exponentially more effective than the typical way that we see the left represent dissent. Now, feel free to bombard me, without a doubt, feel free to bombard me in the comments section below with all of the ways that I've gotten this wrong. But the point that I'm getting at is that in art schools and design schools, routinely over and over and over again, I see a simplistic, an aphoristic, a simplistic way of representing a political viewpoint. Usually it's through protest posters and placards, and the subtext of those forms of communication basically are a form of virtue signaling. The subtext is that if you disagree with me, if you disagree with the sentiment expressed on the placard, that somehow you're evil. Where the Prince of Zimbabwe videos seem to be a much more effective way of using both satire, but more importantly, at their core, they're not about a moral position. If anything, they're quite the opposite. What they're doing is they're attempting to open a window into a specific political perspective. So that's what this episode is about.
Britney Spears has done it, Beyonce has done it, Pink, the list goes on. So to get something like that is just, it was so exciting. But you don't know when you're in the moment, and like, it was the most, and like it was, and like it was so, like, I just felt so stupid, and like